One. May 5th, 2022, Board of Health minutes, hybrid meeting. It's being recorded. Present at the meeting are Sue Braska,
Jean Nelson,
Tom Fitzgerald.
Alex White.
Mackenzie Kane.
Mackenzie's on Zoom.
And a baby.
And Cindy, you can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Any public comment? Peter, anything you want to say?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
So the minutes, I gave Cindy the April 7th minutes to go over. Cindy, were you able to make those corrections?
Yeah, I have them on the computer, but you have the new minutes from the last meeting in your folder.
So I have the April 21st minutes and I've already, I don't know if you've gone through them, Tom, but
I have not seen it yet.
do you want to just look at mine? Have you just started them, Tom?
Yeah, I looked at, I have a copy here.
Okay, I know, but do you want to just add to mine?
Oh, okay. Have you seen these yet?
yes,
You have, okay.
yeah,
Cindy, I wrote a lot of stuff on the minutes, so if you can't
Okay.
read my writing or understand what I'm talking about, you can text me or whatever.
Okay, that's fine.
Did you get to look at them at all? Mackenzie, you didn't.
No, I have not seen them.
Um,
I can email them to you tomorrow morning. Great.
So do you want to vote on them tonight or should we put it out to the next meeting?
If you guys have them in front of you, you can vote and I'll just not vote.
Okay.
okay, so, the minutes from,
April 21st, 2022.
okay, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of April 21st, 2022 with the corrections.
I second that. All in favor?
Jean Nelson, I.
Sue Braska, aye. And
Mackenzie Kane, I'm going to abstain from the vote.
she didn't get to read them.
Okay.
People waiting for me.
That's fine.
First time
Take
I've
your
seen these
time.
and I'm making some corrections. That's all.
Good edits.
Pardon me?
Good edits. You an editor?
No.
She is though. She's a wordsmith.
Yeah. Do you do Wordle?
No, I loaded it, but I haven't done it.
Okay.
Just need a signature page.
So Alana,
She have to,
yeah, just gonna make
Say,
corrections on
okay.
that, yeah.
okay.
So,
So then
You can just put
we'll
that, on-
just sign them next time.
so
okay.
Cindy, we'll just put that on your desk.
Okay, thank you.
And Cindy, if there's something you can't read, just you can get a hold of me,
Okay.
my notes.
So I'd like to welcome Alex to the board.
Yes, congratulations, Alex.
Thank
We're
you.
Very happy to
Thank
have
You
you here.
certainly are going to be an asset to the Board of Health.
Absolutely.
So thank you. And Tom and Alex are working out how they're going to do their days or whatever.
Tom's going to continue mentoring and
Filling in
And
with,
filling in.
he's got some school obligations, grad school obligations to make sure we have a smooth transition for his position.
And once
Make
we,
sure,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, I just want to say that, in making sure the town is served, you know, as it was before, used to the service.
And once we, Jean will be leaving the board, so once we get the new member on, then we'll give you a sheet of all our names and addresses and stuff like that,
contact information.
contact. And we have to get, well, we do have your contact information with your application, that's the phone number and everything to reach you at, right?
Now, you will have Southwick email though.
He already
He
has
doesn't
it.
say
He
that.
hasn't got it today.
Oh, so it's AY at Southwick.
Exactly.
Got it.
Okay,
Email me, whatever you need.
So what is it, A White?
AY.
Yep.
at
That's
Southwick.
SouthwickMA.net. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I'll email you so you have mine.
Absolutely. That'd be great. It's a small pen.
And I'll email you and give you my phone number.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
We'll do that.
And I think you, Trent, I think you got Joe's today, Joe Deeds.
Yes, I
Okay,
did. Yes. Yeah. Great meeting him.
Mackenzie, do you want to email Alex also, so he'll have your email? A White at Southwick Mass, southwickma.net. There,
You possibly?
Yes, she is.
you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry, I have bad service. Yeah,
Okay.
I can do that.
So A White at southwickma.net. And Cindy, do you already have Alex's contact information, phone number, and,
I have his email. I just do not have his phone number.
okay, you can get
I
that.
can get it. I can get it from Tom, or you can leave it with the minutes.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Who takes care of that? So you want to go ahead, Tom, with your report?
Yeah, and Alex, Alex, you want to do the report for the nurse? You wouldn't mind?
Yeah,
COVID.
so so we got the information from Valerie Bird in regards to, she's doing our contact tracing for the April COVID-19 cases. Looks like we have 78 for May 1st to the 5th. We have 12. We also have 12 influenza, 1 Hep C, 1 chicken pox, and 1 Lyme. And
78 was for all of April? Or from, what was the 78?
that's for April COVID cases, 78, yeah.
Okay.
And then May
12 more.
just started, we have 12 so far.
Okay,
And then according to this, chicken pox, the case is 6 years old, but not in the Southwick school system. So far in May, there are no children in Maven. And I think that's it.
should have a breakdown of the people that were vaccinated from May
Yes,
1st to,
5 are over the age of 60. I think that's what that means, and vaccinated.
Yes.
5 of the cases, okay.
Mhm.
And then do we have any updates on the public health nurse?
It's been posted in several locations. And the answer is no,
No.
not yet.
No
No
applicants.
no applicants.
Okay.
We do have an older one that was even before we posted this, that was sent a few weeks, now, a few months ago now. I guess we could reach out to that person. It was sent by email. And there was another person that was looking for, she was a nurse practitioner. And I didn't think that was somebody that was, she wanted a nurse practitioner job, not, post, not nurse. So,
So Alex, does Valerie have your contact information?
Yes, she
to
does.
send you in town board?
yeah,
Okay.
he knows Valerie. Yeah.
Unless that nurse practitioner is retired and wants to just. do-
No, she said that she wanted a nurse practitioner position.
Oh,
But I still have it, her email.
Okay.
We have a senior center in Booster Clinic,
May 13th.
May 13th, 9 to 12. Alex, will be here that day, right?
Yes.
Mr. D.
Hi,
According to Cindy Sullivan, there's already 25 people have signed up for it. And anticipate many more as we post it on the website.
is there gonna be a,
There's a link to the website.
cut off of how many people they can take?
Well, I've asked them about that, and they suspect the typical is 50. However, they bring 200 doses just in case. So I think they'll be
Pfizer and
well
Moderna, right?
supplied. And if for some reason there's a huge amount, that's what's great about having that pre-registration. Even though they can accept walk-ins, but if there's a huge amount of pre-registration, I'm sure they'll boost the number of units available.
Yeah, but you have a 3-hour limit. What happens if they go over that 3-hour limit? Would they do that?
Do they stay?
Hmm.
Guess it depends on how many.
Yeah, I mean,
Immunizers.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Find it later. Okay. Go ahead.
Title V stuff, final inspections, 46 Wool Palmer Road, 68 Congamon Road, 12 Noble Steed.
All repairs?
Well,
Except for
no,
Noble
12
Steed?
Noble Steed is new and a sign off at 5-8 Sawgrass. And then a mobile food service inspection at Northam Butcher Block. Mobile unit. He's had a unit in the past.
Where did he have it set up?
I think he said had it set up at a few places. He's got the permit that he can.
I
set it up
think
in
it
any
said that they were
house.
going to be at the motocross this year.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
you can do it other places as well. But yeah, thank you.
So does Alex know about the motocross?
Yes, I took him to Wally Park and we talked about I showed him the motocross and what we normally do there. And I will continue to do that. I mean, we were out for a half a day driving around looking at the subdivisions because it's pretty active Title V stuff right now. We had 3 plans for new construction just this week. Septic plans. That's a lot for a week. So we're Alex and I are working through those.
How are you at
Not come.
reviewing the plans?
Great.
He's been doing that. Yeah.
You check the calculations and all that and,
Yeah, yeah, the buoyancy, loading rate, yep.
okay.
We also have from the planning board, they're asking for the applicant for the Old Krabby Joe's is going to be, I think, 4 dads. The owner of that. I don't know what the name is going to be yet, but it's the Old Krabby Joe's. And I guess they're asking for their special permit. So the board would like to take a look at that.
Is it septic?
Proposed site plan. They don't actually, there's not even a name on it yet.
Is it sewer or septic?
It's not sure.
It's sewer?
But they're gonna do some kitchen renovation. met here with the principals and the architect about 2 months ago with Kyle. And gonna get a hold of us to do a walkthrough again. And talk about what we're gonna do with the kitchen, hopefully, you know. Alex can join us on that.
So
I will send that person.
where's the kitchen now located?
Actually, there was actually two at one time. So that's the.
Oh, yes, they're taking the
I'm sorry,
whole,
there's
they're taking the whole
It's-
building
it's
now?
right here. No. They're not taking the whole building, they're renovating it. They're gonna renovate it.
The
So
whole
this is,
building. 'Cause remember, there used to be two restaurants.
that's right, and they had part of the kitchen here and part of it here. It was kind of a walkthrough. They had it. You kind of walk through to the other side, it was called the boathouse. Is that it? Boathouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this one used to only serve like breakfast.
Correct. But
And
they
then
would,
this portion was for a dinner.
right, and they had some of their kitchen there, some of their kitchen was
Mm.
What is,
in a couple of places.
what is this here?
That's that porch
The little porch, yeah.
where they had some tables,
Okay. Right. so-
dining tables.
Well, have they come in to talk about what needs to be in the kitchen, or they the plan of the kitchen, or?
No, either.
They haven't done anything
I thought
yet.
that he was, like, mentioned to us a while ago that he was going to be contacting us, myself and Kyle, to go back through there. He hasn't contacted us yet. Maybe because they were making some adjustments. So I haven't been in the building since there, other than driving by with Alex to show him, you know, what they're planning here. So as soon as we do, we're gonna be going through, finding out what they want to do in the kitchen and asking what they want. They were kind of inferring to us that day. The fire chief was there too, Russ was there, myself and Kyle, that they weren't gonna be doing much to the kitchen, but, and I think Tammy was in last year and did a walkthrough, brief walkthrough, but I'd certainly like to. Alex, right,
Let's
too.
go.
If they're gonna renovate the whole building, it's like to see not just a plan, but all materials, specifications, what they plan to do, because there was some older equipment that I wouldn't want to see reused.
Yeah, they had some issues, I believe, with that kitchen in the past.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
just reusing,
No,
no,
no, and it was, yeah,
no.
so I really would think that we need to get in there, you know, before they.
Looking at the
Final
storage calculation.
Everything, yeah, I mean, lighting, yeah, floors, walls, ceilings.
I noticed that it says summer 48, winter 62.
Parking, marina for the, oh, I know, because of the, they're not having boats and they're not gonna have boats in
Oh,
the summertime, so the parking would be increased.
No, they
in the
would
wintertime.
have boats
They
in the
would,
summer,
sorry,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
parking,
but
the
in
parking
winter.
would be increased in the summertime.
But that hasn't been approved yet either. Because they have to
Right.
go to the
Oh,
docks.
Right, the docks are apparently,
Yeah, they have to
Another
go
issue.
for a chapter 91 license. Because they want part of these docks is transient docks. You know, meaning people would come into the bar or have
Right.
dinner, et cetera.
Right.
Just park their boat. And then the other docks for rental space as a marina. So they need to get a special license from the state in order to have a marina.
Okay, so that's still up in the air. that
which
part.
mean that they haven't had a marina license before,
No,
but they had docks.
yeah. They didn't have a valid chapter 91
Okay. But they're
license.
definitely gonna have that this now.
They have to now, yeah. So it'll be 20 slips for transient and then 20 slips for marina. So it'll be total 40. No, it's not.
All right, so you just wait for they contact you.
Yes.
Hey, what's this, geothermal well permit, 341 North Venus?
Well, that's the first one. I had to look up the regulations because they're fairly new as well, since we've never had it before. Person that was applying for it. New York State, didn't have some of the qualifications. She was well-graded.
What exactly is geothermal? Is this in our new proposed well
Yes,
regulations?
they do address that, but they even have regulations besides that, the state. So in other words, that would already include their regulations, no matter if we didn't change our regulations.
So define geothermal.
Earth.
Geothermal.
Warm earth. So that's the word.
No, I know, but
Geothermal,
what
that really,
is
that's what
that-
it means.
what
Well,
is that
I'll
in-
explain it. It means that they bring a fluid into the ground and use the earth's heat to heat and or cool depending on the time of year. What a lot of folks don't realize is that you need a lot of electricity to push that water around, depending on how large it is.
And how to close or open.
Right, close or open loop. And so there's a lot of the discussion was about what they're using for a fluid. And,
Injection.
right, if the fluid had, if the fluid could leak, and B, if it had issues with the pollution, if it got out. You know. So that, some of that has been resolved over the years.
No menthol, no antifreeze.
And is this one of the first of its kind in Southwick that we've known of?
That's the first one I've seen.
Hmm.
So we gotta get the bone up on that. But as I said, the application, when I called them back they're from New York, and they're trying to increase their, their use of, trying to increase the amount of states they're working in, right? They want to increase their business. Since they didn't have some of the things that they needed from Massachusetts, I sent them back to get those qualifications. You have someone that's gonna have the qualifications, like a mass driller's license, for example. So we haven't heard back from them since I talked to them, since the last meeting. Just came in.
Why, any reason why they want to do a geothermal?
If they ask the owner,
Homeowner.
yeah, the homeowner. It can be, I guess in some areas, it makes sense, depending on cost of electricity and things like that. But I have heard there's some real issues with making sure that even though you can certainly do it, whether it's cost effective, given the amount of electricity that has to be pumped in to get the fluid, depending on the time of year, season. It's kind of like solar. You think about it. You talk to people that swear by solar, and other people say, well, the payback is not good enough, or I don't have enough light. I mean, there's variables that everybody has to evaluate for their own. Now,
Also great subsidies, from government and state. So good credits.
if they, right, like solar.
Okay, what about nursing grant? What's going on with that?
Well, I think I already mentioned that with we already talked about that.
No, gee, what was I?
No applicants.
No applicants. The nursing grant is, before we can use the nursing grant, we have to have nurses. So we have money sitting in there. We have the
So
applicant.
no applicant, okay, so that's what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's the nursing grant. Yeah.
Good.
We might have to rethink that. Yeah, I did actually talk to Tammy. We had a quick discussion. She was telling me that they mean the state could allow us to use some of our money for other purposes temporarily if they're not going to use it in the fiscal year. So she's investigating that, and she's the one that's doing keeping her hands on the pulse of what's going on. Now Alex will, fairly soon getting up to speed to that as well. But they recognize that, they gave us this money and they gave it to us late in the year. And we're certainly not going to spend it by June 30th.
Thank you.
There's no way.
Not on what it's intended for.
Okay, so you want to look at those Title V regulations?
Sure.
McKinsey, I don't think you got them, because I didn't attach them. but let me see if I can send them to you now. They're basically like the other ones I gave you, but Tom cut out a few more sentences.
Okay.
Mr. D, do you have any questions?
I just sent it. So,
People off spending.
so when you look at the 1998 ones compared to these. We removed like A and B of the old ones for the soil suitability assessments. Because we don't do perk seasons anymore. We do them year round.
Correct.
So we got rid of that.
5-foot separation.
Oh, yeah, since Title V has 5-foot separations for, was it 2 minute per inch
Yeah, or less, right, fast soils.
already? We just went with Title V. Out of all of us having 5-foot separations.
What does title have, 5 now? I'm sorry.
Normally it's 4 feet separation from groundwater to the bottom of the proposed system, except in fast soils, 2 minutes an inch or less. So this would just revert back to Title V.
Then we get rid of the whole section about perks done before May
Right,
1980.
because it's open
So far.
season.
Well,
We got
plus
rid
it's so far from that time, 25 years.
You don't
People
need that, yeah.
have, I mean, that's a long time ago in terms of anybody that's done anything, it's updated it by now.
Alex, did you get a chance to?
Yeah,
look at these?
I just read it a little bit right now, yeah.
Is there anything that striking you or jumping out at you?
I'm
or-
just curious with the time period of 5 years for the perk valid.
Mhm.
I'm just curious a little bit about that, like what's the rationale behind that?
Any changes around the land?
Do you think it should be more or less?
Oh, no, I'm just curious to know how we came up with 5 years.
That was like 3 boards ago. That was a while ago, right, Susan?
Yeah,
And wasn't it because partly to see if there was any changes in either in the soil or flows, if there has been grade changes around that could cause difference in the site.
Yeah.
However, on the other side of the coin, you could look at the fact that, well, if someone's doing a new septic system, they're gonna be evaluating and reevaluating the site as today, as opposed to, what happened back then.
Right.
Even if the perk test was done, if there's, in other words, example, if there's a well too close, and there wasn't a well too close back in 1995. So
True.
I think you could look at it a couple of ways.
So
The
just
other
looking-
option would be that you also mentioned, Sue, that earlier in the regulations that the board could waive the 5 years if
Yeah,
you
you
make
look
it
at it by-
longer, look at that individual
case by
case.
case basis. So we just had somebody, a few months ago,
Yeah,
who
we
wanted
did.
to use a
We did
perk.
that.
Instead of using this new perk that was
Right.
done here, they wanted to use this perk that was done.
Yeah.
10 years
10 years ago,
before.
yeah. So it's kind of a fail safe. So even if someone's aggrieved by that, they could, still come to the board, petition the board and ask if they could still use that perk test.
Okay.
Or test, case may be.
Then for the installer, Tom is going to revise, we have a test for the installer,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which is
Antiquated.
which I made 30 years ago. and it's probably.
What's an excavator?
It's probably too hard, right? And we were talking about if somebody comes in who's been doing this for a gazillion years, instead of saying that they have to take a test, they may have to take a test. You know, just to
Right.
evaluate them.
Yeah, and then some of the codes have changes from that as well. And there's some new technologies that weren't even around then. So we can incorporate that in a new test if we wanted to continue the test. But I like the idea of having, references from other places, other permittees in other towns that have licenses. And like having a couple of letters of referral from references that people have done work. Also, how many years of business have you been working in brand new or been in business for 30 years, and you're just, you're coming to this area, you want to work in South Lake. So there's kind of a variety of things that you can weigh into whether or not they should get a license. I know, like Berkshire Boards of Health Association has an annual requirement before they're allowed to, get an installer's license. They're the only county of Berkshire in the area that does that, unless other counties do that. I'm not aware of anyone else that does that as a requirement. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that we do anything like that, that have every year they have an installers conference. I don't even put the burden on us or get other towns together to do it. Like that's what they've done in Berkshire.
Going back to 4-foot separation for repairs. Can repairs have 3 feet
Yes.
separation
And
variance?
yeah, but now it's funny, it's been mentioned that there's new technology called the Elgin system that is allowed to have 2-foot separation, because it's called an ATU. It's not a conventional system, it's an advanced treatment unit. So the state has allowed that to have a 2-foot separation of groundwater or 2 feet of permeable material. And that technology wasn't available. It's still fairly new. It's out of another company out
Is that
of
in,
Enfield.
is that in Title V now, or is that a?
Well, it's under
Supplemental.
yeah, it's not in the body of the regulations, but it is an approval, the property approval process, provisional approval process. The state has, for each applicant that has certain technology.
And is that only for repair?
No, they have different categories. Some are just for repair if they're new, but after they've been in the pipeline of septic systems repaired for so long, the state then changes the category. It says for general use versus provisional use versus for repair.
Mhm.
So there's like a multi-stage process, and as far as I know, that Elgin can be used for new construction as well as repair. But that's 2-foot separation. That's pretty significant, compared to 4 feet. So it makes the
Significantly
mound a
less.
lot smaller.
Okay, then another change, sieve analysis, we asked that we get that to us within 3 months of installation.
Right. Sometimes when I was looking at septic systems, and it asked for the sieve for the Title V, sieve is for the Title V material that has to be placed between the groundwater separation and the bottom of the septic system. Some of them really old, so I usually reject those and say you need to get from the supplier of the sand. They have to get something more recent because we don't know where that came from.
Now, how are we keeping track of that? Because you're putting in the system and you can be signing off on the system, but not have the
And have what?
analysis. Do you ever sign up on the system before you have this analysis?
No, that's
Okay.
part of the
Okay.
sign off process.
All right.
And I'm saying we want to tighten it up even more to ensure that, people aren't just using something that was a year, because they could have moved the area where they're excavating. And if nobody's taking tests out of it, we don't know what that material is made of. So it protects the consumer, just, in the public in general.
Well, I have a question, a little grammatical thing.
Yeah,
It says the contractor shall. should it be the contractor will, isn't shall a little suggestive?
Shall is a requirement, right?
Yeah, shall is required. I think that does work. Yeah.
Shall's more
I think shall is yeah.
forceful.
Instead of
I
using the
may.
word will,
Or
the
could.
Or
contractor
may or
will.
could.
Will,
Shall.
okay.
Shall is that definitive. Yeah.
Shall is definitive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, and just wait, just one more
Yeah.
little, in section D.
Yeah.
I mean, section 7D, Southwick Board of Health system, disposal system regulations and Title V requirements must be completed,
compiled.
oh,
No,
compiled.
No, maybe completed.
Is it completed or compiled with
That's,
fully,
compiled spelled
with
wrong?
fully
That's
before?
easy. Yeah.
So
Oh, no,
there's
it's
something,
I.
Yeah, it must
Right.
be.
there's something.
exactly, not
wrong.
LI. Yeah, there's a typo. in there.
Complied.
Complied, yeah.
Com-
It's kind of those,
Complied with,
Must be complied with.
yeah.
Must
no,
be
there's no
complied
it's
with
not complied.
fully, okay. Must be complied with fully,
Yeah.
okay.
okay, does that make sense then? Must be.
Now
complied
it
with.
does, yeah.
Okay. So
Comply fully. Yes.
Okay. That was
don't-
just me reading
Yeah,
it
that
wrong,
just-
sorry.
That does sound weird, though. You're right, yeah.
maybe it must be fully complied with.
Well,
Must
Did-
comply
Well,
fully
you say, yeah.
before or prior.
yeah. Okay,
So these regulations, did you get to go through them, Mackenzie? At all?
Yeah, I'm listening. I have a very sick kid, so I can't really keep my microphone on.
Okay, all right, sorry. We don't approve these yet, right? We don't approve them until we.
have a public
Yeah,
hearing.
it's got-
Will
yeah.
be posted.
Right.
So what are the steps? We have to post it twice in two places within a month time? Do we have that? Do we have that?
Yeah, I think
somewhere?
I put that in your folder, the actual regulation,
Was it
to do it,
2 weeks?
but this is just for Title V stuff, but you have to post the actual regulation and have a public hearing. You have to have a hearing. So you have to post the public hearing, and then after you decide that you want to do this, then that's when you have to advertise it, put it in the legal ad, you have to have a legal ad saying what the regulation is.
Okay, so we can vote to decide to post
Hearing.
this and have a public hearing.
Mhm.
And then after that, after everything's done, then we will vote whether we approve them or disapprove them.
After the public hearing.
Okay,
I think you have 7 days after the public hearing to enter any appeals or,
I think you're right, written. I think most of the state codes say that you have the right to appeal. I think it's within 7 days. Yeah.
they would.
I don't think any, 'cause we're.
But so that, I'm sorry, it means just that you can't sign them. You can motion and vote on them at the public hearing, but you can't actually sign them for 7 days after. They don't become into effect for 7 days after.
Yeah.
Okay, so where can I look that up? Where can we look up that procedure? That,
We just told you, didn't we? I mean,
no, I want to see it in writing to make sure that we do everything.
well, we've done it before.
I know, but I don't remember how we did it. And we did it before
I
and I had it written
I have
out.
the document from the state that I could show you.
You can show me
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay,
But it's basically what we said. And at the end, after you do vote, after a public hearing on anything to do with Title V, you have to have a legal ad. And other than that, that's it.
so I'm gonna make a motion that we go forward with these regulations by posting them and having a public hearing.
And we go forward with adopting these regulations
Okay.
in accordance with the procedures. Essentially. Okay, so I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Jean Nelson, I.
Sue Braska, aye.
Kenzie Kane, yes.
Okay,
Okay.
so we will, Tom will get that and we'll take it from there.
Well, and Alex. Don't forget, we have to include Alex.
We're gonna, make Alex do it.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Okay,
And I'll look for a document that cites that too. That's
yeah, I
not a
used to
problem.
have it.
Well,
I
we
could tell
have,
you
yeah.
step
that-
by
yeah,
step.
The
Pretty sure it's
legal
on the,
handbook for the
I'm pretty sure
boards
it's
of health. is
right,
in that.
exactly. That's
I
exactly
thought I made a
what it
copy
is.
of that, put that in your file.
I'm pretty
Um,
sure.
But it's okay.
DEP
It's all right, well, I
Okay.
I have it.
Repository has that too, as well. on their website.
And then it has to be, then it has to be also sent to the central register.
And I think
Which
they
you get a lot of
have, they
regulations.
have that language.
Okay, so did you, I know you guys were busy. Did you get to look at the well regs?
No, I looked at them originally, yes. They're a lot more complicated.
Yes.
I would think that, we're biting off a lot with this first, but
All
I
right.
think that they're a lot more they're a lot more complex and a lot more stringent and costly for homeowners.
So on Thursday, all we had time was to go over these
Right.
septic regs, which took a while. So we didn't have time to go over the wells.
There's actually, I think there's some talk about state taking over that. If you, over the years, you've seen where there's some regulations that the town used to do, or towns used to do, and then the state took it over. This may be another example. There's some talk that they're going to make these mandatory, just like the Title V. In other words, right now, local boards of health have their own well regulations besides the well drillers. That is a state license to be a well driller. There's certain conditions and requirements that they have to meet. But the actual well regulations, when you can drill, where you can drill next to XYZ sites, what kind of testing is required, those are all mid-local. Because there's such a disparity, I think the state is looking at actually adopting these wells as being a state code.
But that's gonna take some time because.
Yeah.
Just,
Just like
evaluation
they do
from
with smoking.
RCAP,
Just like,
right, RCAP Solutions, and then they have to bring it in front of the Senate and the House, and then they have to
Right.
approve it, so it's probably not gonna happen. this-
Well, what happened with the outside wood furnaces? Remember
Yeah,
we made all those regulations
Yeah.
and then the state came out with it.
Right. And also,
Body
remember
art?
smoking,
Body
I mean,
art.
no, I mean, there's a
Tobacco
bunch of them,
compliance,
there's a bunch of things.
After we worked
Tobacco
really
at
hard
21,
doing it.
remember you passed it, for, they did, and enough towns did the same thing, and then we finally said, well, we're gonna pass it, so that's the other issue, whether or not it makes sense to wrestle with this if the state's gonna pass it. But I can say this, they're still working, the state is, they're still working on the housing code, and they're working on it for 10 years. Literally, and.
Revising it, you mean?
Right,
Revising
right,
it
just
to
that's
Title
the
II or
revision
something?
of it, never mind something new, which they already have a housing code, as we know, but they're working on revising it. Also, they're working on revising it, the swimming pool code, public pool code. That is complicated as the housing code or the well, so, but
Because it's gotta be minimum requirements, so.
the state doesn't work quickly as some people. Through, involved in government.
Okay, else, it's cybersecurity training, what's WMP?
Western Mass
AJ.
Public Health Association, which I went to the meeting last week. That's actually where I saw Tammy, because she's a member. And I would like to see Alex become involved in that. It's a great organization. We've been together I've been involved for 15 years, but it's an educational organization. It's kind of like the version of the MHOA, Mass Health Officers Association, but for Western Mass, because a lot of times it's difficult for us folks out here in Western Mass to get out to their conferences out in the eastern part of the state. It's just too far away. So this many years ago, it was developed as a milk, food and milk association many years ago. And it's morphed into Western Mass Public Health Association. We interact with the other agencies, but we do the totally Title V. We do training on restaurant inspections. And we sometimes provide money for nurses for nursing training. We're trying to get a lead paint determination training out here because people are backed up and trying to find get the lead paint. certification for inspectors. So basically, that's what it is an educational consortium of public health people. And I think that'd be great for Alex to get involved.
Yeah, what's it going to take for Alex to become a member?
Very easy.
I think I am a
Show up.
member.
You have to actually show up.
Oh, well.
You have to show up. You just, no, you have to come to a meeting, be participating.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I mean, they just recently had, was it a recreational camp one?
Yes.
And then they had, actually talking about the well regulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And we meet in Southampton. We've been meeting there for a while, Paisanos. And, but it doesn't have to be there. We just want to kind of centrally locate where people can get there from Berkshires, Franklin County, from all four counties, because it's mostly the four counties. But it's open to everybody, but people in Boston don't want to come to our conferences typically, but they're certainly
It's
welcome.
not too far, huh?
It's not too far.
Okay, I have Alex's 2 letters of employment, which Alex has signed. I'm gonna sign, Jean's gonna sign, and Mackenzie,
As long as you have 2 signatures, it's fine.
okay,
That's a majority of the board.
all right, Mackenzie, unless you want to sign it.
No, I'm okay if you guys just sign it, but I'll verbally, I'm in agreement, so.
So is she.
So the 2 letters of understanding are to employ Alex from May 1st to June 30th for 2022. So that's the interim between fiscal year 22 and at the beginning of fiscal year 23, which is July 1st, 2022. Alex will have a 3-year contract, which will go until June 30th, 2025. So that's what you're agreeing to, and you've signed,
Mhm.
and the board is on board,
So what date do we put on the 2-month one? Because Alex started on May 2nd. Do we put today's date or do we?
I thought
Yeah.
the
You said
2 months one
today's
was all
date?
set.
Yeah, it's all set, it's just an
That's all set.
official,
Oh,
because
So
we
it's
never
the
actually signed it, that's
5th day.
all.
Of May
It was understood.
in the year
I thought,
2000.
no, I remember
signed it.
signing.
No, you
Yeah.
signed
it.
I
Yes, you
2
signed it a
copies.
while
You already
ago.
signed
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
Yeah, you already
okay,
signed it.
okay, I'm sorry. So that one was already signed, that one's in effect
It was
currently,
April.
and now we're going to sign the one for 3 years.
Yeah, and then in duplicate, so Alex has already signed it. So
Okay.
Jean just needs to sign it. And who do we file the original one? Do we have a place and we file the original one?
Carl gets one
Yeah.
and Laura, not to mention the originals, but they want to get copies.
Or who gets the originals? Does Alex
I
get an
think the
original?
board,
Yeah, I think our
Yeah,
board
Alex-
keeps
Alex
one,
you.
and then
Yeah,
the select board has
yeah,
to,
and Laura gets one.
has
for
to have
the
one.
accounting
Okay, so I'll,
purposes.
after the meeting.
And then you gotta be
10,
sworn in,
11.
unless you have this morning.
Nope.
Okay, oh, I see,
get
this
sworn
is
in twice.
two-sided and this is not
Well,
two-sided,
So after the meeting, we'll
Only
make
because you got
copies.
two
So I'll have a
contracts.
copy
right,
and Alex can have a copy and the board can have an original and then whoever else needs
Right.
an original.
but Alex needs an original,
Okay, yeah.
so that's the one.
Congratulations.
Yes,
From your official. so-
yes,
And you have the other 2-month one,
yes,
the
ma'am.
original.
Right.
okay,
Okay. And Tom, you have the original, our copy of the original 2-month one. You found it in your office the other
Right. I
day.
think you gave it to Cindy.
okay, so
So we'll
Tom,
keep
we're
that
going,
one.
going to entrust you with the original of the 3-year
But I'm
one.
gonna make a photocopy.
We have it
of
on, do you need a
I feel so.
photocopy of it?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a photocopy. of it. Well, we
Here.
can do it later.
Okay,
Okay,
Okay.
so
Give that to Cindy. I want to leave it on her desk because she shares a desk with
Right.
somebody.
Yeah, sure.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we move on, I want to thank Jean. This is her last meeting.
Yes, it is.
I won't embarrass you. Just thank you for your service to the town, for the Board of Health. You were a member, no, well, first you were the secretary and then you stepped up to become a member, which was very nice of you to do that.
And I enjoyed every minute of it.
We enjoyed having you here. We're going to miss you.
It was,
You will be missed.
it's a learning experience. You know, and I believe everybody needs to dedicate at least some of their time to the town. You live here, you know, it's part of your civic duty. And it's unfortunate circumstances that don't allow me right now to continue, so.
And you said you learned a lot from being on the board, but we learned a lot from you. I mean, your knowledge of it, you've helped us so much and it's gonna be big shoes to fill.
Well, yeah, size 10.
And we're gonna really miss you, but we know you're next door. You
Yeah.
said we can
Right,
ask
you're
you
not going far
questions.
away.
I'll be happy and, you know, and I'm sure
you.
whoever the new member is going to be is
Yeah.
going to be fine. And there might be 30 years of Board of Health stuff up here that I'll be able to help you with. So I'm not like
We're counting on it.
moving to Florida or anything, but, so I will be in the office and I'll be willing to help at any time.
Great.
Okay?
Oh, that's quite endorsement. I
Yeah, that'd
I
be good for
appreciate that.
Alex.
And I
Yeah.
appreciate what you've done as well. And you have been a great asset. And I think the
Do you have
town
any,
is served.
Peter, do you have any comments or
Not this time, thank you.
Cindy, do you have any questions?
Nope, I'm good.
Mackenzie, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Joe?
Thank you for your service to the town.
It was an
will continue.
experience. Yeah,
Well, it's a different form.
yep.
How many years on the board between secretary and member? Were you a secretary and then not a secretary and then a secretary and then the member?
Oh.
So how did I work
I-
you into a secretary?
My cousin was the secretary. And she was going to have her second daughter. So at that time, it was a shake of your hand type of employment. And she said, will you take over as secretary to the Board of Health until after I have the baby? The baby's 32 years old now. She never came back. So that's pretty much how it started. And, you know, I've actually enjoyed it.
Good. We've enjoyed having you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, so the next meeting is
After town elections.
19th May.
Yeah.
Is that a Thursday, 6 PM? We'll have a new member, hopefully. Else to say before we close it?
How about I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:55 PM?
I second it. All in favor?
Jean Nelson, I.
Sue Braska, aye. Yes. Kinsey? Child.
And she's on
Yeah.
mute.